What's up and welcome in. You found yourself locked on Bulls. I'm Matt. That's Big Dave. It is Wednesday, October 20th, 2021. In other words, the season opener for the Chicago Bulls 21-22 NBA season. We're going to talk about Bulls Pistons, which we have on deck, 6 p.m. Central Time tip-off tonight. And also a question that was asked by a Sports Illustrated NBA writer. Can the Bulls really be that good without a true superstar? We're going to answer that question, at least give our take on what we think about that. That's all next on a fresh Locked On Bulls. Let's go.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Here are your hosts, Matt Peck and Big Dave Watson.
What's up and welcome into Locked On Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Matt Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. You can follow my co-host Big Dave at BAWL Sports. And you can follow us at Locked On Bulls. Shoot us an email, lockedonbulls@gmail.com, or hit us up on that text to voicemail line, 331-979-1369. Big Dave, I am ready. I got my Horace Grant straight up bitches shirt on. I got my niece wearing her Bulls outfit coffee mug. I got everything ready for the Bulls' first game of the season. And man, I don't know about you. I enjoyed that NBA on TNT doubleheader last night with some star-studded lineups. How are you, my friend? Are you ready?
I am so ready for tonight. I have a calm about myself, guys. Like, I know I seem like to you. I have a calm about myself that I'm just in a zen place right now where I'm just like, start the season, roll the ball on the floor, and let's show the NBA what the hell we've been looking at for all this time. I am so ready because tonight, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, dinner is served. Oh, man. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's
time.
You've been tweeting either hashtag let them cook or hashtag start the season every day for like 4 months now.
Look,
we're finally ready.
Give me more.
I'm excited, man. And
so ready.
What do you know? The Bulls, yes, they are at on the road playing a substandard team, a Pistons team that had some offseason moves that were okay. We'll get to that. We'll get to what the Pistons did this offseason. But they're coming off a 20-52 season. One of the few teams last year that the Bulls are like, we're better than that. The Bulls are favored on the road to kick off their season. I mean, wow.
And it only took them, losing, their number one star draft pick who won't be playing tonight. And Cade
Cunningham out, not available with that ankle that he injured at the start of Pistons training camp. So kind of a disappointment there because I would have loved to see Cade in his NBA debut. But one less thing for the Bulls defense to worry about, right?
Very fair point. One less thing to worry about. And we get to get a look at your guy, Killian Hayes, too, though. Like, he's going to get some time out there, too, as well. So, I'll be wanting to see that. But, yes, I don't care who they play tonight. I was like, dude, just roll the ball out and let's just go stomp somebody. I just want to stomp them. I really do. I want to stomp them into the ground. That's what I want. That's what I want.
I think that's what Bulls fans should look for tonight is, look, no disrespect to Dwayne Casey. I think he's going to do his best to get that team to play. I think he is a good coach. And like I said, they don't have Cade, but they have some nice pieces. I mean, Saddiq Bey, one of the biggest, pleasant surprises of last season. We're like, wow, that dude can play. Kelly Olynyk, I think, is at the price they got him was a low-key solid move for the Pistons in the offseason. I liked the trade that netted them Hamidou Diallo. Of course, you got Jeremy Grant, who came and took the big bag from Detroit to not be a role player in Denver, but to kind of have his own team. That squad's got some talent. They don't have the talent. The Bulls, they don't have the talent the Bulls have, though, Dave. Plain and simple. The Bulls, like they did with Cleveland in the preseason, should roll this team.
Yeah. I just want to bum Slade tonight. And because I haven't seen that for years, us just go up against the team and bum Slade, because that was us. We were the ones, we were the ones that teams were coming in and like, oh, it's Chicago, we're going to the club and we're staying out till 2 a.m. and then we'll come in and beat you guys by 20. That's exactly what the team was. Now the tables have turned, and now I'm just very excited to see this. And also, I do want to see Luke Garza too, because I think he is a great fit for a Detroit Piston. He is Bill Laimbeer 2.0 in my head.
Yeah,
they're gonna love him, man, because he's gonna be physical and he's gonna be an irritant, and he's gonna have technical fouls and a bunch of stuff going on. So I definitely want to see him. Jeremy Grant, also he's a great player for them as well. But overall, Matt, I want the stomping. I want the Bulls to stomp them into the ground. That's what I want, and I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited to watch this. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, something that I'll definitely be looking for, and I think one of the ways that the Bulls can blow out these Pistons instead of letting them hang around in a close game is creating that havoc on the defensive end and creating those takeaways to allow those fast break opportunities, those transition opportunities, because I do not think that this Pistons team can hang with Lonzo and Zach, and all those guys on the fast break. They can't. But you got to get those takeaways. So, we talked in our episode recapping the preseason finale about some of those bad habits that we were still seeing on the defensive end. Like, yes, there's some talent on this Pistons team, but I'm not scared of anybody handling the ball when it comes to this Detroit offense. Can Lonzo, Caruso, and those can we have a defensive swarming by committee kind of night where the Bulls, force the Pistons into somewhere between 15 and 20 turnovers, and they turn that into somewhere between 20 and 30 points. That's how you can blow this team out tonight. That's
absolutely true, Matt. And the other thing I'm also going to be watching, and I'm interested in seeing, is the rotations for the Chicago Bulls. How deep are they going to go? How deep does Billy Donovan want to go into that? Is he going 8? Are we going 10?
They go?
Shout out to the Bee Gees.
Just had a little Bee Gees pop in my head for a second.
Never apologize for a little Bee Gees in your head, sir. It's always a good thing. All right, it's a rule of life, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, I just want to see that rotation. I think we are under the impression that Caruso will be that first person off the bench for them tonight. Where does Javonte Green come in? Is he going to be right behind him? How at that other guard position will Matt Thomas get some tick? Because with Kobe White out, I want to see how they kind of make up for that loss. As far as at the other guard position, will Javonte just play the other guard position? Because now we're so used to him being a power forward, who's dominating out here. So that's going to be the interesting thing to me. I'm not worried at all about the starting five. I think we pretty much know what to expect from those guys. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how that bench rotation is going to be, and how early is he going to go into that.
Yeah. And then especially when it comes to Donovan and his rotation, hopefully we don't have to worry about it because the Bulls are up big in the fourth quarter. If for some reason the game is close, the biggest question is, who does Billy close with? Does he have Caruso as part of that closing five? Is Patrick Williams on or off the floor? Because I think for the most part in preseason, we saw him kind of staggering with Zach and Vooch staying in with that second unit, get Lonzo a rest, get DeMar rest, and then let them come in and get some run in those staggered minutes. Does he stick with that, or does he change things up? Because like you said, I'm not super concerned about the back end of this rotation for Billy if he goes deep tonight. Not talking about garbage minutes and then throwing 10, 11, and 12 in there. But if it is a close game, I'm more interested to see how he staggers the members of the starting five into that second unit. And then I guess one other interesting thing to see tonight is, now that Tony Bradley is back, backing up Vooch for those backup center minutes, which we saw some Tony Bradley in their last preseason game. I thought he looked okay, not great. Maybe still just knocking off some rust from missing time with his injury. But does that knock Alize Johnson out of this rotation? Because I want me some Alize Johnson tonight. I don't care where Billy puts him. I need some Alize Johnson tonight.
Yeah. I think you're gonna see some Alize. I think you're gonna get a nice glass of Alize tonight, sir. And I mean, when you got guys like I mentioned, Luke Garza, I immediately think of Alize Johnson as somebody that's gonna go in, against him and be down there bumping and grinding and fighting and things like that. So I think you'll get a nice shot of him. I'm wondering about Troy Brown Jr. because I know he had an illness, and he probably won't make that game tonight. So again, that's another piece that won't be out there from their bench. So that's why I'm so interested in seeing that rotation. That's why I think you'll see Alizé out there because with those two players down, and Kobe and Troy. It's opportunity there for that man Alizé, who is gonna be that fan favorite right behind Caruso. Man, that's just what it feels like.
Whew, man, goodness gracious! The amount of Caruso love on Bulls Twitter over the last week or so. I mean, goodness gracious, there's a lot of it. All right, we're gonna offer up a few more thoughts about this Bulls season opener in just a minute. First, Big Dave, if any Bulls fans out there are nervous about the game tonight, and they're, maybe getting a little nerve sweat going on, I feel like we have a product for them, don't we?
There is only one product that you're going to need. Just one, ladies and gentlemen. And it's that one that stops the sweat like Alizé is going to stop Luke Garza in his tracks. And that is called Sweat Block. Get you some of them Sweat Block wipes. They are doctor recommended. They are doctor created. And they work for me because, ladies and gentlemen, how many times do I got to come on here and tell you that I sweat? It's what I do. But now it's something I do not concern myself with. Seriously, I don't worry about it anymore. When I feel that onslaught coming on, I just go grab a box, tear that package right open, dab, 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 dab. Whoa. And it's awesome and it's great, man. And a lot of people have hit me up, honestly, about that. Does it work? Is it really true? I know it's entertaining when you do it, but does it really work? I am telling you, trust me, it works. And it works up to 7 days per use. So you'll get about 10 in there, but it'll work up to 7 days per use. Now, I know what you ask yourself. How can I go ahead and get some? How can I be like Big Dave and Matt Peck and be dry all the time while being overly excited about the Chicago Bulls? Well, let me tell you right now. You go right to their website, man. You go to sweatblock.com and you use this promo code just because we ain't got nothing but love for y'all. Use the promo code LOCKED ON, okay? Use that promo code LOCKED ON, save you 20%. You know what I mean? Or you can go to Amazon or you can go to CVS, but save yourself 20%, get you some of that wonderful Sweat Block and enjoy this Bulls season. Oh, Sweat Block, made for the sweaty.
Made for the sweaty.
Baby.
I think they might put a question mark, after that one in the possible new taglines. I like idea bid.
Made for the sweaty. It's true.
Yikes. So when it comes to other things I'm looking at tonight, I mentioned the defense obviously, and we'll see. Killian Hayes missed their last preseason game with concussion protocol. I still haven't gotten any firm word that I've seen on Twitter, Big Dave, whether or not he's going to play tonight. But obviously, the very dangerous lefty point guard. If he is out there, you just want to see the Bulls try and force him left. Like if that's all he's going to do, great. Force him left, force him to the baseline, and let help defense do what it does. Offensively, Dave, is there a way that you would like to see Billy Donovan? Do you want him to just like establish Vooch in the post right out of the gate? Do you want to see him run some Vooch and Zach pick and roll? Do you want to let him get some DeMar ISO going? Like how do you want to see Billy, set up this game offensively?
What popped in my head was Zach Guilford. When you asked him this kind of question, he was like, yeah, I don't care. Like either way, like, I don't care. Like that's all I want. But I do. It just popped in my head when he said that. Because honestly, I don't. I want to see however they want to do it. I'm okay with that. How they establish it. But as far as how they kick it off and how they start it, I do want to see just Lonzo with the ball in his hands first and foremost. Yeah. I want to see how it's run through him. How whatever they run. If they want to start it with DeMar getting off, if they want to start it with Vooch getting off, if they want to let Zach get in, like however they want to do it, I want to see it being run through Lonzo's hands because I expect them to be in transition a lot this game. I expect them to run, man. I expect this team to run because the defense that I think they're going to play is going to force those turnovers against this young team, who's still up and coming. And I feel their defense is going to be swarming. And so I expect them to just be running. As far if it happens down to, where it's like in half court sets, I'm sure it's the NBA. just as long as Lonzo has it, and I want to see how he calls it and how he runs it, because Billy Donovan has shown you that he's very hands-off in his approach about, trying to get players. Trying to tell players what they want to do on the court. He lets them figure it out for themselves, which is why the IQ is so high on this team. So I'm interested to see how Lonzo just is Lonzo, because that's exactly why he said he was brought here, was to be him. I'm interested in what that truly looks like, because we've got an appetizer about what it looks like in the preseason, and man, it looked good. But now I want to see what it's truly like here in the regular season, where it's hands off and you're like, Lonzo, run the team for us, get us these buckets, let's have some fun.
And in addition to that, also on the occasions where Zach or DeMar are handling the ball, getting Lonzo some good open looks from behind the 3-point line, because we saw that added element to his arsenal in one of the preseason games. I think, was it the second game against New Orleans when he were just like raining threes?
Yes.
Yes, it was. In addition to seeing Lonzo make those eye-popping passes, also hopefully getting him some good looks, behind the perimeter tonight. But yeah, I think I'm with you in the sense that, like, however the offense flows based on what Detroit is showing the Bulls, like, roll with that. I think what we learned in the preseason is that there are a lot of different ways that this Bulls offense can function, compared to last season when it was like, all right, well, if Zach is having an off night, or if Zach is getting double teamed, the Bulls struggled to score. And now it's like, guess what? We get to watch Zach play off the ball. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very likely that we can see a kind of night from Zach where it's like, oh, he has 26 points on 14 shots. Great.
Yes.
Great.
Oh my God. Yes. And I want to see how often he gets to the free throw line too. I think that's important as well. I want to see if he's getting those calls, because some of those times I didn't think he was getting those calls in the preseason. Some of those things were happening. And one play in particular, which was actually awesome, because it was one that he got fouled on and he immediately turned around to complain, but the play was still going on. And then the ball goes to the backcourt, and then Lonzo made that incredibly intelligent, brilliant play where he jumps in the air and he bounced it off Steven Adams, and it goes out of bounds.
That was amazing.
Yeah. That was amazing. That's, if you watch it, that's where it stemmed from. Is Zach turned around, it was like, dude, I got fouled, but the play was still going on, and stuff like that. But that's, again, goes to the IQ of this team, because I can remember that kind of play happening in previous years where if Zach did that, everything would kind of stop, because everybody is kind of looking around, like, okay, Zach said it was a foul, so so should we keep playing? But the IQ is much higher on this team, and yeah, and you're not just as dependent on it anymore. Of course, he's your leader, and of course, he's your star, and he should get all the points and all of that. But it's not like, oh man, if he's off, then we're off, and that's why I love this so much.
And look, yeah, again, with the parameters of it's just preseason, the Bulls won 4 of 4 in preseason, and on each night, one of that trio of Zach, Vooch, and DeMar had an off night shooting, and they collectively overcame it because it was just one of several weapons who had an off night shooting. And if you can get to the free throw line, you being Zach or DeMar, and even some nights Vooch, then you can still score points. It doesn't have to just solely be hero ball from Zach LaVine, and if your shooters don't shoot well, you lose. Because we saw, like, every single preseason game, like, there was one night where I think, like, Vooch was like, 5 for 16 or whatever. Their preseason finale, DeMar had a really rough night shooting the ball. He had good looks, they just didn't go down. You can win games anyway. That is not something that the Bulls had that luxury last season. You can overcome a bad shooting night from one of those guys, because now it's one of those guys, not just the one guy.
Not just the one guy. I've pointed out times, where they've come out of the timeout and gone in the post, or they've gone ahead and they said, DeMar, you go ahead and you run it, and you get yours. Or you pointed out, Matt, the Pelicans game where Lonzo was just going crazy from 3. Like, it's just so many ways they can go now. And now with Patrick Williams back added in there, you saw how open his shots were. You know what I'm saying? Just from those guys he's gonna get a lot of that this season, man. So that's why I wasn't, again, and just a sidebar, that's why I wasn't worried about how slow his shot takes, you know what I'm saying, how slow he is shooting that shot, is because he planned on being super wide open, and he shoots it really high in the air to touch, the ceiling, where God can slap it down. That's how high he's shooting that thing up there, man. So that's why I wasn't worried about that. But he's going to get a lot of open looks, as we saw, in that first little glimpse of it. He's going to get those looks because guys are penetrators. Lonzo, DeMar, Zach, those guys, drive and kick. So I'm interested to see that. And also Vooch. They're going to collapse on him too, because, and guess what? He's a good passer as well. So, so it's like, what do you want to do? How you want it? How do you want it, man? You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm so excited, Matt, because I'm just excited for that day where I'm like, man, Zach had a rough night and the Bulls won by 15. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the stuff I'm waiting to hear, and I can't wait to see. And oh my God, I just can't wait to watch this, man. I'm so glad it's starting early too.
Speaking of drive and kick, just bringing it back to the defensive end for a second, that is something that I'll be looking forward to tonight. And how the Bulls defense collapses. My guess is it's going to be Frank Jackson, who's been starting at point while Cade Cunningham's been out in the preseason. He's actually a nice player. I like what I've seen from Frank Jackson so far. But how will the Bulls play them? Are they going to keep switching a lot as they have done? Are they going to do sort of like the soft drop that we've seen from Vooch? And then can they make sure that you get out to the perimeter when those driving kicks, when those pop outs happen? Because this Pistons team does have some shooters on it. Like, I mentioned Kelly Olynyk. He's probably going to be 6-man off the bench. He can shoot from three a little bit. Josh Jackson, who I forgot was on this Pistons team because everybody forgets Josh Jackson exists all the time. He's been knocking out a bunch of threes for them in the preseason. Like, the Bulls have to stay vigilant around that perimeter, because I think Jackson will be able to, collapse the Bulls defense a little bit with his ball handling and spray out to some shooters. Can the Bulls protect that 3-point line tonight?
That's a great way to put it, man. And again, like you said, I forgot all about Josh Jackson. I forgot he was even there. I forgot he was even on that team, man. But yeah, they definitely have that. They have that in their arsenal as far as 3-point shooting. But I think the Bulls, what I'm going to want to see is how they counter that on the defensive end. Because to get those shots, those aren't guys that are just, dribble, cross you over, pull up, shoot three. That's guys who have to get the ball when it's moving. Like, you know what I mean? The ball has to move to get to the open shooter. Will the Bulls be, what we've seen as far as what they were defensively in the preseason? Because they weren't allowing that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, those guys weren't allowed to have those wide open shots or, run their offense. And whenever they tried to run it, the Bulls were definitely throwing, the monkey wrench into the plans. So that's what I'm interested in seeing. This is a great test if it's a 3-point shooting team, because that just means the ball has to be moving and the ball has to be passed and moved around to find the shooter. So the Bulls closing out, on shooters, the Bulls getting in those passing lanes. When the ball is being brought up the court, how much pressure are you putting on the ball handler? Those kind of things is what I'm looking at, because Lonzo does that well, man. He loves pressuring ball handlers when they bring the ball up the floor, which I absolutely adore. So those are the things I think I'm going to be looking at as far as that counter, because you raised an excellent point there about that 3-point shooting.
All right, so we're going to wrap up the show with a question asked by Chris Herring, NBA writer of Sports Illustrated, on a cover story of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah,
that's right, the Bulls got a Sports Illustrated cover story. And he asked an interesting question. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But first, Big Dave, if Bulls fans maybe want to throw a little bit of money on the game tonight, maybe a parlay here, maybe a money line or an over-under, where might they go to do that?
Well, Matt, there is only one place to go. You know this, because Matt Peck is the resident gambling man. All right, he's Paul Newman out here. This is what Matt Peck does. He is
500 last night, baby. 500 on that NBA doubleheader.
Talk to him, Matt. That's what I'm talking about, man. And Matt went to Bet Online to get it done, because they are back and better than ever with that new web interface at the start of the basketball season, with more props, more odds, and more lines than ever before. Bet Online remains your number one spot for all basketball and football action this season. This is what you do. You head to that website that is brand new, and you go ahead, or you get your mobile device, either way, and you sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Okay, 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit, guys. Make sure you use the promo code Locked On to receive that bonus. That's Locked On. Whether it's basketball, football, baseball's in the postseason, NHL, boxing, UFC, handball, whatever you want, Vegas games, whatever you want, man, they got it for you. So take advantage of all these amazing offers available in the 2021 season, because BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Sports.
You know what? If you need a little bit of brain food, if you need a little bit of energy while you're figuring out what bets you want to make tonight, grab yourself, that's right, a Built Bar, folks. Built Bar. You know, those things that Zach Gilford wouldn't stop talking about the other day, even though he's never had one. These Built Bars, y'all know them. Y'all know the OG flavors like cherry barcia, raspberry, mint brownie. One of my favorites is salted caramel, cookies and cream, German chocolate. Something for everybody. So go to Built.com, get a mixed box where you'll get 2 Built Bars in each of their always available flavors. Try them all. Pick which one's your favorite. They get a whole box of that flavor. Not only are these Built Bars the best tasting, they're good for you too. 17 or 18 grams of protein. Calories ranging from only 130 to 180. That's nothing. 4 or 5 grams of sugar, 4 or 5 grams of net carbs. Look at that. All those numbers add up to healthy for you, and they're delicious. They're basically chocolate tasting candy bars. And right now, I love this one, Dave. Their new flavor available right now on Built.com for a limited time, blueberry muffin Built Bar. I love blueberry muffin flavored things.
Shut up.
A blueberry muffin Built Bar. It's like you get your breakfast flavor and a protein bar flavor candy bar all in one. I mean, come on, people. So go to Built.com and use that promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order this time and every time. Again, that's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Okay, Dave, before we get to this Chris Herring article that you found, just come across my Twitter feed just now while we're recording, right around noon on Wednesday, Chicago time.
Okay.
USA Basketball official Twitter account. Jim Boylan will lead the November 2021 U.S. Men's World Cup qualifying team in Mexico. Ty Ellis, Othello Harrington will serve as assistant coaches. So these are qualifying games that will be played next month for the 2023 FIBA World Cup. NBA players not allowed to participate in these FIBA World Cup qualifying games, but it is the senior men's national team. And of all the people in the world, they chose Jim Boylan?
You know that man knows how to worm his way into situations, and just he does that so well.
Did Jerry Reinsdorf take over USA Basketball and I missed that? What on earth?
Telling you, man. These guys, they love him, man. He knows how to do that. I am now officially concerned about USA Basketball, though. I will tell you that. I am concerned. I'm very excited that it won't be any NBA players there. I'm excited about that, but I am concerned about the youth. I'm worried about the youth now, Matt, having to deal with this dude. Oh my gosh. It's you know what? I won't be surprised at any story that comes out from that. I really won't. I won't be surprised at anything. If they say, why is he putting in a punch clock? Like, they're going to be surprised about that. So just get ready. Thankfully, I don't have to deal with it no more, but just get ready. I don't know what y'all doing over there, but oh my Lord. All right. But get ready, though. Get ready. Oh my goodness. That's wild, though, man.
Thankfully, this is a qualifying roster that, you know, obviously this is happening while the NBA season is going on. So no NBA players. Right. If it were NBA players on USA Basketball, they would all show up and say, oh, this dude? Nope. No, thank you. Turn around and walk right out. This is not voluntary. Like, did you get paid to play for Team USA? But not that much. It's like, what do you think? I need this? You think I need this bullshit? No. Wow. No. USA Basketball. What are you doing?
Wow.
What are you doing? Wow. Oh my goodness. What a curveball in the middle of an already super like high energy day. Here comes Jim. You're all excited about the Bulls preseason debut? Let me throw this curveball at you. Remember me?
This.
One of those inflatable clowns that never goes away.
I have a neuralizer. I don't remember anything about you, sir. I don't know anything. It's gone. It's out. It's out of memory. I don't know who you are.
All right. So real quick to wrap up here, Dave.
Oh man,
you found this article. It is Chris Herring, who is a great NBA writer and reporter.
Excellent.
Always read his stuff. Currently writes for Sports Illustrated, and this is a cover that you sent me. Suns, Hawks. Why not the Bulls? Question mark.
Why not?
And it is just a long form column that Chris Herring wrote, detailing obviously not only the recent rebuild of post Jimmy Butler era, but even reaching back further beyond that and looking at what they've done this offseason and to say, hey, like, you know, nobody thought the Suns would go to the finals. Nobody thought the Hawks would go to the Eastern Conference final. If that is something that can be done, can the Bulls achieve it? But essentially, the key to the question is, in Chris Herring's mind, a team like Chicago that has several star players, but no true superstars. And so why, the Hawks can do it, the Suns can do it. Would you refer to Trae Young as a superstar? Would you refer to Chris Paul as a superstar? At a certain point in Chris Paul's career, yes. I mean, Trae Young, I wouldn't put him in that tier yet. What do you think about this question?
It's such an interesting one because the way it was phrased, can he win without a true superstar? In my head, Matt, there are only a handful of true superstars in the league. And they're usually top 5 players, you know what I'm saying, in the league.
Right.
So, but you don't need a true superstar to make deep runs in the playoffs. That's been debunked on many, many occasions. We don't have to get into those teams. But it's an interesting question because it's wondering if Zach LaVine is that guy. That's how I look at it. If you're asking, like, is Zach LaVine that dude? We know he's good. We know the names that he's mentioned with as far as his stats are concerned. Mentioned with the Durant, with the Larry Bird, with the Steph Curry. He's mentioned with that as far as stats are concerned. But he hasn't, and of course we know why, but he hasn't been to the playoffs. He has never won 4 games in a row. He has this preseason, but we're not counting that. Right. But how, will this look for him with, these new pieces around him? Will it be his time now? I mean, he just got to the All-Star game. You know what I mean? Like, he's just getting this new recognition, and those kind of things. But we know you're a star, but are you a superstar and a true superstar? And I think that's the question that they're posing directly to Zach LaVine. And my answer, Matt, like, you'll be fine. Like, that's really how I think. You'll be just fine, especially for what I want from the Bulls this season.
Right.
Anything after a first round for me is just excellent. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's as far as my brain is going right now, because I'm not, it's either that or I'm like championship. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's no middle ground for me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to get there. Can I go to the party? Like, let me get to the party first. You know what I mean? Before I can decide what's happening.
And I think that's kind of a delineation in that conversation is, okay, well, can you be a surprise team that makes a playoff run without a true superstar versus can you win the title without a true superstar? Right. Those are two different questions. Right. And I think the answer to that second question is no. I mean, it is damn near impossible to win the title without at least a superstar player. The Bucks had an amazing cast of supporting role players around Giannis, a superstar.
True superstar.
Obviously, the Warriors were a team that you could argue had one bona fide superstar in Steph, and then added another superstar and 2 more with Kevin Durant. LeBron James, when he's won a title, with whether it be the bubble Lakers, 2016 cap, superstar. I mean, you got to go back to maybe the 2014 Spurs to say, was Kawhi a superstar yet? Tim Duncan was aging. Parker was aging. Manu was aging. Was Kawhi a superstar yet? They won a title. And then, like, the example that everybody uses, the 2004 Pistons. It's like, well, speaking of which, straight up bitches. Like, no superstars on that team, but a bunch of really good players and, like, borderline stars. It's like, well, that was 17 years ago and it happened one time. So, no, I don't think you can win an NBA championship without at least one superstar, if not 2. Can you join the fray? Can you get in the mix? Can you get yourself a playoff seed, make some noise, maybe make a second-round playoff appearance? Yeah. Because you might not call Zach LaVine a superstar, but, are you calling Trae Young that? Again, because Zach LaVine made the All-Star team last season and Trae Young didn't. Just throwing that out there. No. I would not put Zach LaVine in that superstar category, nor DeMar, nor Vooch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got a lot of talent. And if the pieces fit right and you knock on wood, stay healthy, that'll be a question across the board in the NBA this season. Anything can happen.
And you're right. I wouldn't put them in either of them in superstar status, but they are definitely stars in this league. And the difference though is I think DeMar has had his run as far as we can say he's not a superstar and probably won't be because he's had his run. He's in the 12th season.
Right.
Vooch has had his run, and it's still kind of in the middle of it, but it's on its way. He's getting older, so he's had his run. He won't be it either. Zach LaVine has not. Zach LaVine still has that shot at becoming the superstar, and that's the difference because you can't just point to it and say, "Okay, you guys don't have a superstar." It's you don't know yet. You know what I'm saying? There's still a chance, is what I'm saying. It's not over with. You know what I'm saying? As far as us having one in Zach LaVine, because a lot of people didn't think he was a star when he got here. You didn't even think he'd be at this level. A lot of people did at this level where he is. It was just a dunker, and that's it. And that's as far as they thought he would be. And so now I'd like this, Matt, because when you knock down a bunch of barriers that people have set in front of you, then they start putting up the real big dog ones. You know what I'm saying? Can you be that superstar? Can you make a deep playoff run? Can you get to a championship? Can you be all NBA? And I'm glad Zach is now at that level where these questions can be asked of him. And he doesn't have to worry about, can you all win? Can you all beat, the New Orleans Pelicans tonight? Can you all not fall on your face? You know what I'm saying? Anymore and do things. None of those questions are being asked anymore. Now it's just simply, can you make it to that next level of superstardom? And I think he's definitely got a shot to do that, man.
Right. Probably won't be a lot of eyes on Bulls Pistons. As far it's not an actually televised game. I'm not sure if a lot of people would put that on their league pass list tonight, but it is one of many. But that's why if there's anything I want to see tonight, it is specifically a clean, dominant game from Zach LaVine. So, I talked about an efficient night and, his efficiency being able to stay where it was last year or maybe even somehow, crazy to think, improve because he's getting looks created for him and he doesn't have to do all that heavy lifting. Clean in that regard, but also clean in show us what you're working on the defensive end. And offensively, when you are handling the ball, keep those turnovers down. Because those are the two things I've done with Zach last year, defense and turnovers. Clean, efficient night from Zach. Score like all three levels of the basketball court scorer that you are proving to be. A slasher, a dunker, a three-point, just absolute weapon. Mid-range, deadly there too. Clean in that regard. Offensive juggernaut in that regard. Clean with the turnovers and show us something on defense. And whoever is watching Bulls Pistons tonight might look at that first game from Zach and be like, this dude's for real. Because guess what? There's still a lot of people who don't know that Zach LaVine is for real.
They're going to find out real soon.
You're going to find out in about 6 hours, Dave. That's it. We got to hop off so I can post this episode and y'all can watch it before Bulls Pistons tonight. Enjoy the game, everybody. Enjoy the energy of the Bulls' first regular season game with this new squad. I know that I will. I know that you will, Dave. And we'll be back here tomorrow with a fresh episode to break it all down for it. In the meantime, hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Bulls_Peck. He's at Bow, BAWL Sports. Or you can hit us up on that text and voicemail line, 331-979-1369. Thanks for listening, Bulls fans. See Red be good.
Let's go.
Y'all in trouble, Pistons. Straight up, bitches.